225. The Hu Weiyong Case. As a ruler from a peasant background, Ming Taizu, Zhu Yuanzhang, had first-hand knowledge of the hardships faced by the common people. After ascending the throne, he adopted policies aimed at restoring and strengthening the economy. He warned his officials, "The empire has just stabilized, and the people are still impoverished. They are like birds learning to fly, one must not pluck their feathers. They are like young trees, one must not shake their roots." Zhu Yuanzhang demanded that his officials remain honest and abide by the law, avoiding corruption and oppressive taxation that would further burden the people. To aid economic recovery, he recruited displaced farmers, encouraged land cultivation, and exempted them from labor duties and taxes for 3 years. He also implemented military farming policies, where stationed troops were required to cultivate land and produce their own food. Additionally, he invested in water conservation projects and promoted cotton and hemp farming, leading to significant agricultural development in the early Ming period. As the economy improved, the Ming dynasty's rule became more stable. Ming Taizu's paranoia towards his officials. Despite establishing a strong government, Zhu Yuanzhang was deeply distrustful of the very officials who had helped him found the dynasty. To monitor and control them, he created a secret police force called the Jinyue, Embroidered Uniform Guard. This organization was tasked with spying on officials and investigating their activities, whether at home or in court. If anyone was deemed suspicious, they faced imprisonment or even execution. Zhu Yuanzhang treated his officials with extreme severity. If a minister angered him during an audience, they could be beaten on the spot with heavy wooden rods, a practice known as court beating. Some were beaten to death on the spot. This instilled deep fear among the officials. Each morning before attending court, many of them bid their families farewell, unsure if they would return home alive. If they survived the day, their families celebrated their safe return. The Hu Weiyong Treason Case. In 1380, Chancellor Hu Weiyong was accused of treason and plotting to betray the country. Zhu Yuanzhang immediately ordered his execution, along with his entire household. However, the purge did not stop there. The emperor launched a massive investigation into Hu Weiyong's alleged associates, which resulted in the execution of more than 15,000 officials and military officers. Once enraged, Zhu Yuanzhang showed no mercy. Anyone suspected of having connections to Hu Weiyong was executed. Among those affected was Song Lian, a highly respected scholar who had been an early supporter of Zhu Yuanzhang, along with Lu Bowen. Song Lian had also served as tutor to the crown prince. Despite his cautious nature, Zhu Yuanzhang never fully trusted Song Lian. On one occasion, Song Lian hosted a private banquet at his home. The next day, Zhu Yuanzhang summoned him and asked, "Did you drink yesterday? Who were your guests? What dishes were served?" Song Lian answered truthfully. Zhu Yuanzhang laughed and said, "You did not deceive me." As it turned out, Zhu Yuanzhang had already sent spies to monitor Song Lian's gathering. Later, in court, the emperor praised him. "Song Lian has served me faithfully for 19 years. He has never spoken a lie, nor has he slandered others. He is truly a virtuous man." When Song Lian retired at age 68, Zhu Yuanzhang gifted him a fine brocade cloth, saying, "Keep this. In 32 years, you can use it to make your centenarian robe." However, after the Hu Weiyong case, Song Lian's grandson, Song Shen, was accused of being a Hu Weiyong conspirator. As a result, Song Lian was implicated and arrested by the Jinyue. When Empress Ma learned of this, she pleaded for Song Lian's life. She argued, even commoners treat their children's teachers with great respect. How much more so should an emperor honor his own teacher? Furthermore, Song Lian has been living in the countryside. How could he possibly know about his grandson's actions? However, Zhu Yuanzhang, still enraged, refused to spare him. During dinner that night, Empress Ma refused to eat or drink. Concerned, Zhu Yuanzhang asked if she was feeling unwell. She sorrowfully replied, "Song Lian has been condemned to death. I am deeply distressed and am praying for his soul." Zhu Yuanzhang, who had endured hardship with Empress Ma in his youth and held her in high regard, was moved by her words. He finally commuted Song Lian's death sentence and instead exiled him to Maozhou, modern-day Maoxian, Sichuan. However, Song Lian, already over 70 years old, could not withstand the ordeal. Weakened by fear, exhaustion, and the harsh journey, he died before reaching Maozhou. The execution of Li Shanchang. A decade after the Hu Weiyong case, another high-ranking official, Li Shanchang, was accused of treason. He was charged with knowing about Hu Weiyong's plot but failing to report it, a crime deemed treasonous complicity. Li Shanchang was not just any official, he was Zhu Yuanzhang's top founding minister and a close relative by marriage. As one of the most senior statesmen, he had previously received 2 imperial pardons engraved on iron plaques, granting him immunity from execution. However, in 1390, at the age of 77, he fell from grace. Zhu Yuanzhang, ignoring the iron pardon, ordered the execution of Li Shanchang and his entire family, over 70 people. Further purges and the abolition of the chancellor position. Zhu Yuanzhang, having grown extremely distrustful of his ministers, abolished the position of chancellor altogether. Instead, he personally took control of the 6 key government ministries: Ministry of Personnel, Ministry of Revenue, Ministry of Rights, Ministry of War, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Works. He also dismantled the Grand Marshal's office, which oversaw military affairs, and divided military authority among 5 regional command centers: left, right, center, front, and rear. In times of war, only the emperor had the power to issue direct military commands. This greatly centralized power in the hands of the emperor, making the Ming dynasty's government one of the most authoritarian in Chinese history. The Lan Yu treason case. 3 years later, in 1393, the Jinyue accused another prominent general, Lan Yu, of treason. Zhu Yuanzhang ordered Lan Yu's execution, and once again, a massive purge followed. This time, over 15,000 officials and military officers were put to death. The legacy of Zhu Yuanzhang's purges. The Hu Weiyong and Lan Yu cases resulted in the mass execution of nearly 30,000 people. These purges wiped out many of the founding ministers and generals who had helped Zhu Yuanzhang establish the Ming dynasty. While these actions consolidated the emperor's absolute authority, they also established his reputation as a ruthless and authoritarian ruler in Chinese history. 226. Prince of Yen marches on Nanjing. While Ming Taizu, Zhu Yuanzhang, was ruthlessly eliminating powerful ministers, he also granted his 24 sons princely titles, assigning them to various regions as vassal kings. Some of these princes even commanded their own military forces. Zhu Yuanzhang believed this would strengthen the Ming dynasty's rule, but instead, it later led to a major civil war. The rise of Prince of Yen. When Ming Taizu was in his 60s, his heir, Crown Prince Zhu Biao, passed away. Consequently, Zhu Biao's eldest son, Zhu Yunwen, was named imperial grandson and designated as the next heir. Most of the regional princes, Zhu Yunwen's uncles, were unhappy with this decision, as the imperial throne would bypass them in favor of their nephew. Among them, the most dissatisfied was Prince of Yen, Zhu Di, the 4th son of Ming Taizu. Zhu Di had been stationed in Beiping, modern Beijing, where he led military campaigns against the Mongols, earning great battlefield experience and victories. As a capable and ambitious prince, he resented Zhu Yunwen's ascension. Zhu Di's intelligence was evident even from his youth. One story tells that Zhu Yuanzhang once tested Zhu Yunwen's wit with a poetic couplet. The wind blows a horse's tail into 1,000 strands. Zhu Yunwen struggled to compose a suitable matching line and eventually answered, "The rain beats a sheep's wool into a foul-smelling mat." Ming Taizu was displeased with this weak response. At that moment, Zhu Di, standing nearby, interjected, "The sun shines upon a dragon's scales, turning them into 1,000 flecks of gold." Since the dragon symbolized the emperor, this clever response pleased Zhu Yuanzhang, and he praised Zhu Di's intelligence. This only reinforced Zhu Di's confidence and disdain for Zhu Yunwen. Meanwhile, Zhu Yunwen himself was aware that his uncles, especially Zhu Di, posed a threat. In the Eastern Palace, his tutor, Huang Zicheng, once found him sitting alone, frowning deeply. "Your Highness, why do you look so troubled?" Huang asked. Zhu Yunwen sighed, "Many of my uncles command armies. How will I ever control them in the future?" To ease his concerns, Huang Zicheng told him the story of the rebellion of the Seven States during the Han Dynasty, explaining how Emperor Jing of Han quickly crushed rebellious princes. Encouraged, Zhu Yunwen felt somewhat reassured. Emperor Jiangwen takes the throne. In 1398, Ming Taizu passed away, and Zhu Yunwen ascended the throne, becoming Emperor Jiangwen. He adopted the era name Jiangwen, and is thus often called the Jiangwen Emperor. At this time, rumors spread in the capital that several vassal princes were secretly conspiring to rebel. Fearful, Jiangwen turned to Huang Zicheng, recalling their earlier conversation. "Do you remember what we discussed at the Eastern Palace?" Huang Zicheng confidently replied, "Your Majesty need not worry, I have not forgotten." He and another close advisor, Qi Tai, devised a plan to weaken the power of the princes. Qi Tai argued that Prince of Yan, Zhu Di, posed the greatest threat as he had the strongest army and the most ambition. He suggested striking first against Zhu Di. However, Huang Zicheng disagreed, fearing that Zhu Di was already well prepared. Instead, he proposed targeting Zhu Di's allies first, particularly his younger brother, Prince of Zhou, Zhu Xiao, who ruled Kaifeng. Jiangwen agreed and ordered Prince of Zhou's arrest. Zhu Xiao was stripped of his title and exiled to Yunnan. Next, the emperor removed 3 more vassal princes from power, further weakening the imperial clan's military influence. Zhu Di's deception and rebellion. Zhu Di, having long anticipated trouble, had been secretly training troops in Beiping. However, to deceive Emperor Jiangwen, he pretended to be mentally ill. He would speak nonsense, roll on the ground, and sometimes lie still for days without moving. When imperial envoys arrived to check on him, they found him sitting by a fire in the middle of summer, shivering and muttering, "So cold." Hearing these reports, Emperor Jiangwen was convinced that Zhu Di had truly lost his mind. However, Qi Tai and Huang Zicheng remained suspicious. They arrested Zhu Di's family members in Beiping and secretly ordered the city's military commander, Zhang Xian, to arrest Zhu Di. They also planted spies within Zhu Di's court. Unfortunately, Zhang Xian was secretly loyal to Zhu Di. Instead of capturing him, he warned Zhu Di of the plot. Realizing that his enemies were moving against him, Zhu Di made his move first. He arrested all the spies within his court and declared open rebellion. To justify his actions, he claimed that he was not rebelling against Emperor Jiangwen but seeking to eliminate corrupt officials, namely Huang Zicheng and Qi Tai. This rebellion came to be known in history as the Jingnan Campaign, meaning the war to pacify chaos. Zhu Di's march on Nanjing. Zhu Di was an experienced general commanding a disciplined and battle-hardened army. He quickly captured several key cities, and many local officials defected to his side. Frightened, Emperor Jiangwen dismissed Huang Zicheng and Qi Tai, hoping Zhu Di would halt his advance. But Zhu Di refused to stop. The civil war lasted for 3 years. In 1402, Zhu Di's forces met the imperial army in Huaibei, engaging in a fierce battle. Some of Zhu Di's generals suggested retreating, but he refused, declaring, "We can only advance, we will not retreat." Soon, Zhu Di's army cut off the imperial army's supply lines, launched a surprise attack, and achieved a decisive victory. With no one left to stop him, Zhu Di marched directly to the capital, Nanjing. The fall of Nanjing and the fate of Emperor Jiangwen. As Zhu Di's army surrounded the city, Emperor Jiangwen ordered his soldiers to fight to the death. At the same time, he sent envoys to negotiate peace, offering to cede territory if Zhu Di agreed to retreat. Zhu Di rejected the offer. A few days later, the imperial commander Li Jinglong opened the city gates and surrendered. Zhu Di's forces stormed into the capital. Upon entering the city, Zhu Di found the imperial palace engulfed in flames. He rushed to put out the fire, but many people had already perished. When he inquired about Emperor Jiangwen's whereabouts, he was told that the emperor and empress had set the palace on fire and perished in the flames. However, rumors persisted that Emperor Jiangwen had secretly escaped. Zhu Di becomes emperor. Having seized Nanjing, Zhu Di declared himself emperor, taking the era name Yongle. He became known in history as Ming Qingzu, Emperor Yongle. In 1421, he moved the capital to Beijing, making it the permanent seat of the Ming dynasty. From that point forward, Beijing remained the capital of China.